Hi guys, this is C# tutorial of Café Management Systems. So let me show you how this works. So when you click on any of these checkbox, you can always select whatever type of drink you want. Okay, so let's enter value in there, and African American coffee, then ice cappuccino. Now let's check out Lagos chocolate cake, Kilburn chocolate cake, and maybe red velvet cake, forest cake, and Boston cake. Okay, those are the selection I intend to make. All I just need to do is to click on total. There, as you notice, the service charge is constant, and that's the tax you're paying on your meal. If you add this and this together, that's what you get. So we can always get a receipt. If you want, you can print it out. That's your receipt right there. All you just need to do is hit the print button. I don't need it printed, so close that. And as you can see, we have time of purchase and the dates. You can also save your receipts if you want. So let's say we save it and maybe clear it. Okay, open up the receipt that we've just saved. Let's look for it somewhere. There we go. That's the receipt we've just saved. Okay, and you can select, cut, maybe paste it right underneath here. Paste. You can select and copy, maybe paste it here, paste. There, you see it works just like any other system, and we can reset. So what I will do now is to take you guys straight into C# development environment, and we'll put one of these together and you guys see how it was done. Hi, this is C# tutorial. I'm going to be developing a cafe management system. So the first thing I intend to do is to click on new project and make sure C# is selected. Then we'll click on Windows Forms application. Let's just give that a name. We call it C# underscore cafe management system. Okay, and click on OK. There. Okay, now that the form is ready, all we need to do now is to go straight to the property and define our properties. Let's define the size of the form. So let's go for 1368 by 700. That's our form ready. Now the next thing we're going to do is let's get some panels on board. I think we're going to need about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go for about 8 panels, because what we'll be working on is cafe management system. Let's look for the panels. There we go. We have one here. And this is going to serve as the heading. We're going to be using that for the heading there. Okay, now we need one. Okay, another one here. So let's just copy this one. We can always hold Control. We have one here, one here. We need 2 here, 1, 2, and we need one right at the bottom here. So in total we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is fine. Let's extend it about that much. Bring this down a little bit. Not that much. Let's see. Okay, I think we're gonna need more room here. Take this here. We're gonna be using these for our receipt, really, and we may have to change the back color for now. Well, let's select it all and just go to the property and change the back color. Let's look for something here, control dark. control dark for all. Alright, so we now, maybe I should just try some other way, or let's speed it up. Let's speed it up and I get back to you guys. Okay, this is how the interface look for now. So let's go back in here, get a label on board. We need one label there, that very label. Let's change the text content to Café Management System, or Café Management System. Okay, so let's add an S to it. Then we come up here, change the color. Oh, the color is fine, we just need to change the text color, or the font color. Let's come in here and change that to control light and increase the font size to about maybe 60-70. Let's try out 60 first. Okay, take it up. Yeah, 60 is not bad. That is cool. Now we now need a logo somewhere here. Let's get a logo on board, or maybe position the logo somewhere else. Let's move this to the right and position the logo somewhere else, to the left or to the right, or right here anyway, to the left. Okay, to create the logo, what I would need is as follows. Let's come here and just get a label on board as well, and the label is going to, let's change the font to approximately 60 as well, and the font type, I'm going to change that to Winging. That's the font size for my label right there. Okay, so right in there, let's come straight into the property right here to get the type of label that I want. Let me go straight into Microsoft Word. Okay, I will now come to insert right here and select symbol, drop that down and select webbings or webbings. Okay, right here in webbings, I've already used this, so let's see where they are. Okay, yeah, I have them here as well. Okay, that's it. So I need one. Okay, insert, that's it there, one. I need two, and I also need the plates. So let's close that, and I will just increase let me increase the size so that you guys see what I'm talking about. There they are. Those are what I intend to use. I will now copy, now come straight into C# right there, select that, select the label, go to where the property is and just paste that right in there, right there. That is my logo. So maybe I should change the color as well. Let's change the color. Alright, that is the logo right there. Now the next thing I want to do is to get some checkbox in place. I need a checkbox here. I'm going to need a couple of those. Let's change this font, the font size of this checkbox to something a little bit readable, and the color as well there. So now copy that across. We need about, let's go for maybe 8 of those. Okay, just select and copy it all now. Now we have them in place. I'm gonna need another 8 on the other side. Move it across. Then we're gonna need text box and labels. So let's get some labels and text box in place. Get a text box, that's a label. Okay, put the label here somewhere. Need 2, 3 of those. Then we increase the font size anyway. Let's come here and increase the font size. Okay, let's maybe 16, yeah. Okay, and we need a couple of those as well here, then here as well, and one more here. Okay, the ones on this side, let's change their property here. We want to change the property to auto size equals force and border. Let's go for fixed single. Yeah, fixed single. And the background, let's change the background to control dark. Just drag it about that much. Now let's come back to the property and just go to the alignment and get it centered. Alright, so that's fine. Now the next thing is these very ones. Let's change the font color. Let's change that font color to control light. There we go. And change the data. Let's change this one to tax. Next one, that will be subtotal and total, and this will be known as service charge. Let's change this to cost of cakes. The next one will be cost of drinks. There. Okay, now we have all the labels in place. I'll remove this one so as well. Move this down a little bit. Okay, separate this and delete the content in all of them. Alright, gone. Now we need a text box. There we go. We have our text box there. Drop this down, select multi-line, just reduce that. Okay, we need to now change the font. Let's change the font before we copy it across and make that bold 16. That's fine. So I'm gonna need eight of these. Okay, this is how the system is looking now, though it's not finished yet. Let's come in here and get a label on board, or a button. Actually, we need a button here. 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4. Okay, those are all the buttons we might use. So let's change the fonts of each of these buttons. Come and just change it to about 16. Alright, then here we may have to change this. Let's go to the text. Just change that to total. The next one, let's change that to reset. Then we have a reset button. Reset. Then here, let's call that exit. And here, let's enter maybe a RichTextBox. Right, RichTextBox here. Okay, with that for now, let's just run this program and see how it looks. Then if there's any other thing to do, we take it from there. Okay, this is how it looks for now. All we need to now do is to give all of these components a name. Let's extend this a little bit, give them all a name, and we'll start with the coding. We take it from there. Alright, that's good. Okay, let's change this first to as follows, and let's give that a name, CHK Café. Now the next one will be known as CHK Velvet. Let's say red velvet, and the text value will be red velvet cake. Let's put a cake there. Okay guys, this is how the interface looks. So what I'll do next is just to give all these components, give them a name. So I'm just gonna go to design view, click on latte, and then right there let's call that CHK latte. Okay, so I will now maybe speed that up and get back to you guys. So this is CHK espresso, so let's speed that up. Okay, every single component now has a name. So what I'll do next is let's take care of the reset button. Okay, right there. So let's go for txt Africa dot text equals, so that is for the reset, and txt. By the way, let's see, dot America equals, I think we should set the default value to 0 really for each of these components. So let's set that to 0 as well. So which means every single component here will be 0. Alright, so now let me just come here as well. That is America. You have got that. Then let's go for black dot text equals 0 to. Alright, so let's just copy this, and I think I might have to use this. I may have to use this for the form load as well. Okay, txt Boston there, and txt cappuccino there. So let me just speed this up. Okay, right there, those are the reset codes. So what I'll do, I might as well use these lines of codes for my form load. So I'll come to form load, double click on the form right there, double click on it instead of me entering that. So that's what will happen. So what will happen is when I run the program, this is what you see. If you notice right here, okay, we have 1.75. okay, that will be the service charge. So let me show you how the system looks like before running it, or before I run it. That's the system. There's nothing there now. So with the form load, the code that you guys saw now that I just pasted on the system, so let's run it. Okay, the form will actually populate the components. There we go, guys. Can you see that the form has populated the components? So the only bit that there's nothing there is this tax, subtotal, and total. So even when we clear, the same thing. So supposing I enter some value in there, I can't enter nothing here. I can enter here. Alright, click on reset. That's it. It default back to the default value. Okay, one other thing is, let me get all of these centered. So I can just select it all and get that done. Select it all, come to the property right here and get it centered. Let's see here, right there, and that is it. Or maybe even right or center. Okay, that's fine. Center is okay. So if I run it now, this is what you guys should see. You see, it's centered. Okay, one other thing is, let's take care of exit. We'll come in here, double click on exit, and just enter application dot exit right there. So that's the taking care of the exit and the resets. Okay, I've also taken care of the form load. Oh, that's the resets. That's the reset, and here is the form load. They are all taken care of. So have a good look at the code. The code in form load is exactly the same lines of code with that of resets. Okay, so I will run it and we give the exit button a try. Alright, so let's enter some value in here first. Okay, reset. Alright, exit. Okay guys, this is the second part of this tutorial. So what I want to do is, when I run the system, let me just run it so that you see what I'm talking about. When I click, I want this to be able to enable it. Right now I've disabled it, and the form load, if you notice what I've done, let me just show it to you here. Form load, okay, right there is disabled, so we want to be able to enable it. So we're going to repeat exactly the same thing to the rest. Okay, Now to be able to enable it, what we want to do is double click on latte right there and enter if chk latte dot checked equals true, because it's going to have to compare that. Then what I want you to do is I want txt latte itself dot enabled right there equals true. Okay, we want it to be true, and if it's true, what else do we want? Here we can also say else. You can say if, let's just use an if statement as well. If latte itself dot checked equals false, then we want this txt latte dot enabled equals false. Okay, we need a semicolon here. Alright, so what will happen is if we run it, okay, if it's false, then we also want it to default back to .text. We want the text to default back to 0, right? Because there's a default 0 there. So when I run it now, you will see what I'm talking about. Now you cannot do anything with this, but when you click on it, there we can do something with it. Supposing we enter whatever value in there and uncheck this, it default back to 0. So we're going to be repeating exactly the same thing for the rest of the text box. Alright. Okay, the next thing is we want to click on this very text box txt latte itself, and then come to the property and click on okay, and then enter as follows. Okay, so that means when we click on it, txt latte dot text, I want it to be cleared, and txt latte, I want it to set focus dot focus right in there. Okay, there. So let's give that a try. We enable this, which means we need that. Click on that to see that, then we can then enter whatever value we want in there. If we uncheck, it's disabled. So we have to repeat exactly the same thing for the rest components. Alright, for the rest components, maybe just come back in here, double click on Espresso. So in this case, if Espresso chk Espresso, there we go, dot check equals true there. Then exactly the same thing, so one txt Espresso dot text equals dot enabled equals true. Right, so we now copy this, paste it there, make this false. Okay, we're going to make the other one false as well, and we also want Espresso to default back to 0 that was in there. Okay, Espresso equals 0. Alright, there. So let me just copy this and paste that on the form load itself right here. Espresso is also disabled, so at runtime what you notice is Espresso and these guys are disabled. The only person that can make them active is this. But in the case of Espresso, when you click on that, we still have 0. Why the letter, when you click on that, see something happen. So let's go back into Espresso and we enter exactly these lines of codes into Espresso. Okay, so let's just copy this and come in here, select Espresso, come to the property here and go to where the event is, and we want to double click on click event. That's the click event for Espresso. Then txt espresso dot undo that, txt espresso dot text equals clear, and txt espresso dot focus right there. So okay, I suppose you're following. So at the end of the day, this tutorial is going to be, or this system is going to be an object oriented, but I'm just taking care of the minor ones for now. So you guys, you can see the code. So I'm going to speed this up because it's exactly the same lines of codes. This goes into the check button and this goes into the text box click events. So let's speed that up and I'll show it to you as soon as I finish it. Okay guys, I just finished the last part of the text box, just clearing it and setting focus. Those are for the text box. You can see them. Oh, this is wrong, that has to be focus. Let's see, that should be click event. That is to do with the Lagos text box. So let's come back to here, go to the click event right there. Okay, so that one is corrected. Let's check the other ones. You can see it's exactly the same lines of code. All we're just doing is getting rid of whatever value is in there and setting focus there. Okay, that is fine. Okay, I think all is correct. Okay, the next thing is when you click on the checkbox, there they are. You click on any of these checkbox, what they do is they check inside. Once it's true, this value, the text box is enabled, and but if it's false, the text box become disabled and the value default back to 0. So that's on form load. When you run the program, the form load will actually disable all of the text box. So let's run it and you guys see that there. As you can see, all of the text box are disabled. Okay, only if I click on this, you see that has enabled this. So if I click on this text box, there the content there is gone. Then I can enter whatever value I intend to enter. Okay, if I repeat the same thing for this, okay, let's come in here and play around with anyone here right there. Okay, there, right? So if I uncheck, the other thing that we need to consider is supposing the end user just mistakenly click on reset. Okay, you see this check, they are all still there, so we need to uncheck them. So let's take care of that, and and we can call it the end of the second part of this tutorial. So let's come down in here, double click, no, that's not the receipt, double click on the reset, and right there, so we just need to get the names dot checked equals false. So that's what we need to repeat for all the other component. Let's see what happened there. Dot checked right there equals false. Okay, I'm just going to repeat that for the rest components. So let's say the next one, let's come for America, paste, and the next one I should have approximately 16 of those. So I'll just speed that up and get back to you guys. Okay guys, that is the default setting for, or the reset setting of all of the checkbox or checkboxes. So if we run it and select any of these, let's say we select it all, let's just try it out. Yeah, that's fine. As you can see, they are all enabled. Okay, so let's try any one of these and just click on the resets. Okay, there, as you can see, it all default back, and all of the checkbox, they are all unchecked. If you notice here, I have the service charge as 1.75, so that's just a default value. Let's come into form load itself and just set a default value for all of these checkboxes as well. Inside form load, just come right there and paste that one. That's it, and that's it. So when the form load, the default value for the checkbox will all be false. Hi and welcome back to the third part of this tutorial. So what I intend to do in this third part is go to the tools and let me get my timer on board. That is it right there. Double click on it, and I will also need print documents. The print document timer, they would be for the receipt. I then need print preview dialog right there. Okay, you can see the three objects there. Okay, we need one more so that I can give the user an option to print. Let me move this down and just enter. Let's enter a tool strip there. That is it. Double click on that. There, you can see that it's right there now. And when you click on this very one there, you can always insert standard items. That is it. So you don't have to import or do anything. Just insert the standard item. I have it in place now. And right here I have it. If you can see, there's a label there. There's one other label here. I'll be using this for dates, and the other one, maybe this for time, or the other one for dates. Okay, I'll decide on what to do with them. So let's change the font color anyway of both labels. Select that and come right here, property, change the font color or the full color. Let's change that to control light, and maybe just make that bold, make it bold. That is fine. You can see it much better now. Okay, let's move this up a little bit more, because that will be for my receipt, and enlarge it a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, what is the name of this RichTextBox? Let's give it a name. So we'll just call it RTF receipt. That is it right there. So the receipt is in place now. Let's double click on this timer. Double click on it. Okay, right there for the timer, I will enter as follows. Let's say LBL time, that is it right there, dot text equals date time, that is it. Double click on that. Dot now, right, dot to long time string, that's it. Okay, so that would be for the time. Okay, I can even copy this. Let me just copy it. Let's come to form load. Where's the form load? Double click on the form load and we use that for, let's paste it right there and just change this to the date. I already have the date, and right in here we change this as well to the date. Okay, that is it for the date. And maybe underneath here we can just say timer 1 dot start, and that's it. So that we actually activate the timer, and this will, the form load will display the date. So let's maybe save and give that a shot and see how it looks. Okay, you can see the timer right there and the date. I think I need to move this in a little bit. Let's come in here and just move it in a little bit. Let's tab it in. Right, so let's give that a run again. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, hopefully that should do it. Right there, that's the date. We have the date. So the next thing we need to do now is be able to double click on the print button and get this one working. So the first thing we need to do is, let's double click on this object, print document. Double click on the print document and we enter as follows. I'm calling this method, and that is my object there, and the new font that I intend to use is Area 14. You can change yours to whatever, and that is it. So the next thing now, but notice please, when you are using this you must get e.graphic or else it's not going to work. Alright, so the next thing I want to do now is to click on this print icon and then enter as follows. Okay, so that will give me the print dialog. So if we give that a try, let's give that a try and see. If I come in here, there will be nothing there anyway. I can just write something there. Café system. So if you click on that, hopefully there we go. That's the print dialog right there. You can see that now. So you just click on print and there, so you can print out the receipt. Alright, the next thing I want to do is to be able to open a receipt and so on. So let's take care of that and then get a new one. Okay, with the new, so all we just need to do is double click on that and just say RTF dot, let's clear it. That's it. That will give you a new page, and let's open, open, or let's go for this first. Double click on that, RTF dot cut right there. Okay, so you can cut, you can, let's take care of copy as well. Dot copy then we need paste. Dot paste. Alright, done. Now let's take care of dot open, and right there, those are the lines of code to open a new file, to open a file. Okay, and the file that will be open, that it can open, will be a text file. Okay, let's Okay, let's take care of the save. Double click on that and there. Okay, so we have the save codes there, the lines of code to save, the lines of codes to open. Alright, now let's give that a try and see. Open, maybe let's see. Yep, now we can maybe save. That's it, we can save it, and we can also print right there. Okay, so those are working. So the next thing we want to do is to make sure, let's try this. Yeah, that works. Is to make sure we're able to print our receipts. So let's take care of the receipts now. So for the receipts, we enter the following lines of code first. Okay, that is the name of the cafe. Just do cafe. So let's run it and see how that will look there. So I need to sort of like tab it in and maybe increase the font size. Let's come in here, click on that, and font. Let's go to font and just increase that a little bit, maybe a bit bold, 12. Okay, now let's come to the code, and here we need to tab in a little bit and run it. Let's see, when we run it, what will happen. Click. Here it's a little bit at the center. Alright, maybe we need to delete this. Do we really need this? Get rid of that. We don't need that. Alright, right underneath here, now let's enter as follows. Items. Okay, paste that in there. Maybe let's enter. Let's see the name of the coffee. We have latte there. Okay, we have a latte there. Alright, plus txt latte dot text. Okay, now we want to add maybe a line. We don't need to. One new line. Okay, that's for latte. Let's run it and see how it will look like. Supposing we have something there. Okay, so we click on that there. Okay, I think 2 lines might be too much here. Take that off. Alright, so we now need to take care of the rest. Just copy. I think I have about 8 of those. Okay, let's go for espresso. TXE espresso, and we change this to espresso. Okay, so I will speed this up now that you guys get the idea, but just before I speed it up, let's run it so that you, alright, we have that, let's enter something in there and click run. That is it. So we need to tab this in a little bit more. Okay, so one more tab here, undo that, one more tab here. The next one, iced latte. Let's come there, iced latte. So that becomes txt iced latte. Alright, so like I said, let me speed it up. Okay, all that is left for us to do now is run this program, but just before that, let me show you the lines of codes that make up the receipt. These are the lines of codes from here down. Have a good look at it. Okay, and up to here. and we have the total here. The total is not finished yet, not until the calculation is taken care of. And here we have time and date. Okay, so let's run this program now so that we see how it works. Okay, supposing we enter whatever in there. Let's check this and enter some values in there. Alright, so click on total right there. Okay, but this is not doing anything yet. There you can see the selected items right there, so we just need the total to show up there. Okay, so that is working how we want. All we then have to do is to take care of the total. With the total, I'm going to be using object-oriented method to take care of the total. We have to create some classes and so on. I've embedded a service charge here. That is it right there. Okay, it's all in the receipts. Now let's take care of this component right here, these three and these other two here. And I intend to use object-oriented method. Okay, close that. Let's go to project. Let's click on your project right there and select add class. Okay, we can give our class a name. Maybe we call it Cafe. Alright, maybe we should call this class Cafe, something like that. So let's just type in coffee. That's right. Now click on add. Once our, let's see the solution explorer. Okay, our class Cafe is ready now, but before then let's go back into the form. Okay, double click on total right there. So in this total, I think we need to declare as follows. I'm going to declare the following local variable because I would need the price details of all these drinks and that of the cakes. Okay, so right in here we need all of this. So let's go back into here. Maybe we should declare it as a local variable or global variable. So we can declare it as a local variable anyway. So let's go for double equals. Okay, we call that, actually it's not double equals, so let's go for latte. Okay, that is latte there. Then we also, let's go for ice latte, or we can just call that I latte. So I need all of those variables in place. Then espresso. Alright, let me just find out the names of the different types of coffee here. Okay, we have Vale coffee, cappuccino, African, American, and okay, let's go back. Let's get that sorted. We have Capo, we have cappuccino, we have African, we have American, or I can just call it AM coffee. Then we have A coffee. Right, those are the different types of coffee that I have. Now let's have a look at the different cakes. Okay, I can also continue on the same line, but let's just do it on separate lines. So we have coffee cake, red velvet, and so on. Let's come back and just call that C cake. That will be the coffee cake. And now just speed this up. Okay, now I have all my variables in place. I think the next thing I should do is to assign values to each of these variables. So let's start by going for the following. Okay, I will add value to, or the price to, each of these drinks. So let's go for maybe 120 right there. So that's for the first one. So for the espresso, let's give that a price as well. So let's just enter 129, and I'll just speed that up. Now I have the price for each coffee. Maybe I suppose you guys can see these, or maybe just let's reduce the size of this variable. Express, yeah, that's fine. And this coffee as well, let's reduce it. Okay, I think that's fine. It's not that long. I should be calm. Alright, so we're gonna do the same thing for the cakes. Okay, we know this is coffee. Alright, that's coffee there. Okay, so take that off. That's the coffee. And now let's do something for the cakes. Let's copy all of this. Now just assign the price, maybe 130, and so on. So I'm just going to sort of like speed that up and get back to you. Okay, we have the cakes right here. If you notice, I've changed the variables so that we have enough room, so that you guys can see all of the values in there. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to actually declare variables for the inputs as well. So I'm going to have to say as follows, because I do need that for my class to work, so that I can add up to the function. So let's say double. Now I'm going to need a proper name. Let's say double latte. Okay, double latte coffee. Just use capital there. Coffee equals. Okay, we going to then say equals. Let's convert this. Convert dot. Let's go for double here. To double. Okay. And what we converting, that will be txt latte, this very one, dot text. Alright, now we go for multiply by the variable right there, latte. Okay, that's the first variable. Okay, now the next one, let's go for the espresso right there. So we're gonna call that double espresso coffee equals convert dot double txt espresso, yeah, dot text multiply by the price of espresso there, and we will repeat the same thing for the rest. So let me just speed that up and get back to you guys. Okay, we've taken care of all of the coffees, as you can see right there. And if you notice the cakes, there's nothing done to the cakes. That's why we have all of these green underline. So we're going to take care of that of the cakes now. And here we have the price of each of the coffee, or the different types of coffee. So let me just move cake right here so that they all have their own different okay, let's just make this should be for, that'll be for the coffee. Right, we have the price of coffee and everything there. Now this one will be for just cakes. So let's come down in here and just start with double as well. Double. So the first type of cakes is that's supposed to be coffee cake. So C underscore cakes equals convert dot to double there. Okay, and that is supposed to be txt. Let's put a C there. Coffee dot text. Right. So we multiply that by C cake. Multiply by C cake and enter a semicolon there. Okay, that is for cakes. So let's in here, let's just say coffee, and here let's go for cakes. Alright, so I can just copy this and speed it up. I need 8 of those. Okay, so I'll just speed that up and I will get back to you guys as soon as it's all done. Okay, so that make life easy for all of us. Okay, now that the coffee is taken care of, the cake is also taken care of. So what's happening here is, here are the standard price, and in each of these objects the customer enters the amount, and the amount is then multiplied by the standard price and then stored into this variable. Okay, so the same thing applies to that of the cake. That is it there, done. Now let's go straight into our class right here. Okay, what we're going to be doing here is to enter the member variables, okay, of all of these here into the class. Alright, so what I'm going to enter is as a private. The reason why I'm doing this is to actually encapsulate it. Okay, so we have, so that is double, so let's just give them all a name as well. So that would be declaring this. Okay, we just give it different name. Let's copy that and dump it there, and just maybe call this new. Okay, and enter a semicolon there. So that's my very first one. Then the second one, let's go for, let's say private double as well, and just enter those, encapsulate all of those variables in here as a new value. Alright, so I will just speed that up as well. Okay, now that we have encapsulated the member variable for coffee and the member variables for the cakes, let's do one other thing. Let's take care of what you guys might call default constructor. Okay, so let's take care of that first. Okay, for my default constructor, let's just type in CTOR. There we go, and just you tab and you tab again. Okay, that's my default constructor. So what I will do now is as follows: new, okay, new latte coffee equals, let's go for that. So what that means is it's a double. So I will just repeat exactly the same thing for this guy here, new espresso. Alright, and make that a double as well. Okay, so let's speed that up. Now that we've created a default constructor, I think maybe we should let's create an overload constructor. Let that be an overload constructor, because if we don't do that, there might be problems. So I think we should do that. And before creating this constructor, I think there's an error on this form. Let me come back to this form. You see here, I don't think we would need this anymore, so I'm going to delete it all. Okay, it's not actually needed because I'll be using it as part of my calculation for subtotal and so on. So let's get rid of it, and this is how the variables look right now. So let's take care of our constructors now. So that's my overload constructor. Let me take this thing up and just enter in here CTOR and you tab. Okay, so what we do next is to enter all of the variables here. There we go, all of these variables. So if I copy that and just enter in there double latte, comma, so we just speed that up. Okay, so I have all my variables right in there. So the next thing I would do now is assign the private member variable here. So we then say new, that is actually new latte underscore coffee equals this very latte there, okay. Then we also go for new espresso equals espresso, that is it right there. Okay, and there. So the next thing now is, this is for coffee. Let me just enter coffee on top. Alright, so let's repeat the same thing for the cakes. Right, the cakes anyway. So I'm just going to copy this and bring it right down here, then equals, let's see that of the cake, equals, that'll be C underscore cake right there. So let's speed that up there. So I now have all of my overload constructor. I think that is sorted now. I think I'm gonna see if I can create an object. Let's see if we can create an object now, since we have the constructor ready. Okay, click on the form and right underneath there, let's see if the object okay, we have cafe. Let me just call it in cafe, maybe okay, eat in cafe equals new cafe. Yep, we can create an object. All right, okay, we have that in place. That is fine. And now let's get all of these members. Okay, we have latte cafe underscore. Okay, let's go for espresso. Yeah, espresso is called. Then let's go for the maybe ice latte. Yeah, and let's just speed that up. Come on. Okay, this is how my object is looking now. Right, so since my object is alright, maybe I should go for the accessors function. Yeah, let's come in here. Right, okay, accessors function. Okay, with the accessors function we have to use get. So since we're going to be returning some value, we cannot make this void, so let's go for public double and let's use get in there. Get latte underscore coffee, then open and close the bracket. So now let's return something. Return new. That will be new latte right there. Okay, so we're going to have to do that for all, so I might as well just speed this up. So right underneath here we have all our, in total there are 16 associate functions, so we'll have a look at them. Okay, so I'm now going to move it on. Okay, take this up a little bit. So those are our function, as you can see, or the accessors function. Those are the accessors function. There are 16 in total. Now we can then go back to the form and just complete the carry out the full calculation. So all right, now since there's no error so far, so let's go straight into the form like I said earlier. So click on the form. I already have my object in place. So the next thing now is for me to assign or declare variable for the tags and also assign value to it. There's it. There we go. And I also have values for all of these coffee and cakes right there. This is for coffee and this is for cakes. Maybe I should just get it back the way it was. Let's move this, call it off, put the cake here and the coffee right there. Okay, place it there. Alright, okay, so the next thing now, let's come down here, declare another variable. So let's call that double cost of drinks equals, so now let's get this name, right, Okay, multiply by latte, which is here. So I've actually get this, I'm going to multiply it by that. Okay, multiply by latte right there. So that is one taken care of. Plus, let's take care of that of espresso. Yep, espresso multiply by, let's see the name there, it's called there we go. Alright, so now we're getting somewhere. Take this off. Alright, the next one, let's add another one. So that will be, open and close the bracket, that will be, what's it called, iced latte multiply by latte right there. Okay, so let's speed this up now. So we now have all the drinks assigned here, and everything is now assigned into this object LBL drink. The same thing was repeated for the cakes, and everything and this variable is now assigned to LBL, cost of the cake. You can see it's been converted to string because the component can only accept string. We might as well just show that of service charge. That's service charge there, because I'm going to be adding those to all of this. Alright, the service charge is one-off pay, so I'm not going to be adding it to any of these. I will add it to the tax and the total and so on. So let's take care of the tax, the subtotal, and the total. Right. Okay, we have the tax, the subtotal, and the total. As you can see in the subtotal, I've added the cost of cake, the cost of drink, and service charge. For the tax, okay, converting it to string, I've added the cost of cake, the cost of the drinks, the cost of service charge, the tax divided by 100. Then the tax is then assigned, okay, converted back to double. Okay, that is it right there, because I intend to use it for total right here. So if I run it now, let's save it first and just run. Okay, the system is running. Let's just check a couple of these and enter some value in there and repeat exactly the same thing for these ones. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, decision time. Let's click on total. Yeah, it's working, guys. That's fine. Okay, you can see these lots of numbers, and this one, this seems to be wrong, so we need to have a look and see what went wrong here. Subtotal is £38, so we need to add this to this. Okay, let's see if we can take care of that, but it's working anyway. How about checking out the receipt before we take care of that? You see the receipt is working as well, so everything is beautiful. Okay, let's come back to the system. We're almost done now. Exit. So as you can see, we haven't added service charge to total itself, so let's just copy the service charge and paste it right in there. Then finally, let's take care of the currency. Okay, and right here are the lines of code that will be used to convert it to currency. Right, I think we might not need this. Yes, we do need it, so that's fine. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Run it. Okay, let's just select anything there and enter some value in there. Alright, so let's click on total. There, it's working as we want. That is correct. Look at that, guys. And we can also print. Okay, that's my receipt there. We can print this receipt out. Okay, that's it right there. That's very beautiful. I like it. Close that. So guys, I think I've done it. With that, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial, but let me check and see. Whoa. Okay, you can see I click on reset. This has not been reset. So let's take care of that before we call it the end of the program. But then I just want to try this out. Let me try this out before taking care of the reset. Just copy and paste all of that in there instead of repeating all of that. Let's see what's going to happen. Run it. There's no harm in trying, and let's enter anything there. Okay, it still works. No, it doesn't work because it converted the whole thing to. Alright, it's not working. Maybe leave it the way it was. Undo. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we just need to clear 1, 2, and 3. Let's see the form. Come back down here. So there are zeros in there. So let's double click on reset. Maybe anywhere here. Just enter as follows: LBL subtotal dot text equals 0. Okay, let's copy that, and LBL tax there, LBL total there. So that is taken care of now. Okay, so this will take care of the reset. Let's run it again. Select whatever kind of drink we want. Maybe 2 latte, 3 espresso, 3 African coffee. Let's go for American coffee as well. I just made that up. Okay, let's come here. We want 5 of those. Let's check out Kilburn. Let's check out Carlton Hill as well, and Lagos and Boston. Why not? Boston. Yeah. So hit the total. That's cool. And print out the receipt. Reset. Guys, the system is working fine. With that, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed it. So please do subscribe, and you all have a nice day now.